Good morning, everybody. It's strange, isn't it? I just have to start by saying it's strange. It feels very strange to be sitting in a room on my own with these thoughts that I've prepared. So please forgive me if it's a bit weird at times. I'm reading from my computer some things that I've written down about today's passages. So I'm just going to share them with you, and I really hope and pray that these words will be helpful. As I came to prepare some thoughts for this month's third Sunday service, I was again very acutely aware that though we're going through the same times, our experiences of these times are very different. One thing that I think we share, though, is new experiences. One of those new experiences for me being making this recording. Whatever we're going through at the moment, it's something that we've not experienced before. We're all in the process of adapting to a very different way of life. And the uncertainties about how this will unfold in the coming days and weeks and months makes this experience even more complex. I'm pretty sure that we all have bad days. Days when this doesn't seem to make sense, when we are drowning in the stress of it all, or frustrated about the restrictions, or wondering just where the time goes. And I imagine there are days when we wake up and it's okay, when we find peace and calm in this new way of life. Along the bumpy road of life, we do sometimes get to the point where we wonder where God is in it all. It may be a question that you're pondering at the moment, or it may be something that other people have asked you. I'm hoping that as we look today at the passages that were put down in the lectionary for today, we can get some answers to that question, the question of where God is in this situation. We're using the readings from the lectionary, and our focus will be the passage in John, but just want to have a quick look at the other two passages before we move on to that. It's good to recognise that when we go through difficult times, we're no way alone in those experiences. If you're feeling abandoned by God, you're not alone. Verse 11 and 12 of Psalm 66, which is the psalm for this week, say, "You let us be trapped and put a heavy load on us. You let our enemies walk on our heads. We went through fire and flood." I think that that's sometimes how we feel in this situation. We feel trapped with a heavy load on us. Our enemies, whether our enemies are thoughts or difficult feelings, are walking on our heads. Sometimes it feels like fire. Sometimes it feels like a flood. It's good to know that we're not alone in feeling like this at times, and we can be completely upfront with God when we feel like this, as the psalmists so often are. But of course I cut that verse short, that verse 12, because verse 12 goes on to say, "But you brought us to a place with good things." If you're feeling trapped and heavy at the moment, please be encouraged. God will bring you to a place of good things. And that place is not necessarily beyond this time that we're going through at the moment. That good place can be in the midst of everything that's happening at the moment. And where is God in this time of suffering? The simple answer is that he hasn't gone anywhere. In our passage in Acts this morning, it says, this is Acts verses 27 and 28, "God wanted them to look for him and find him, though he is not far from any of us. We live in him, we walk in him, we are in him." Or the Message version puts it like this, "He doesn't play hide and seek with us. He's not remote, he's near. We live and move in him, can't get away from him." As I reflected on this verse, I was reminded of Psalm 139, in which the psalmist talks about going to the heavens or to the grave and finding God. In fact, Psalm 139 is subtitled the inescapable God in the New Revised Standard Version of the Bible. Growing up, I remember reading that psalm a lot, and I always felt like the psalmist was trying to get away from God and was frustrated that he couldn't. But in these times and with experiences of suffering, I see it in a different way. Not as an effort to escape, but an acknowledgement that God is in everything. You can be going through the most difficult time. God has not abandoned you. He is there, and you will not slip away from him. He will find you, even when you are in hell. When it feels like the darkness has covered you, be encouraged by the words of Psalm 139, verse 12, where it says, "Even the darkness is not dark to you. The night is as bright as the day, for darkness is as light to you." This doesn't say that the darkness will be taken away, but it does say that in the darkness you have a companion with you who knows the darkness and will hold you all the way as you go through it. God has not abandoned us in these strange times. He is still with us. So how can we recognise him? Let's read our passage from John to help us. And I'd encourage you now, whether you're reading this or you guys listening to it, to get a Bible and to read John 14 verses 15 to 21. John 14 verses 15 to 21 say the following: "If you love me, you will keep my commandments, and I will ask the Father, and he will give you another advocate to be with you forever. This is the Spirit of truth, whom the world cannot receive, because it neither sees him nor knows him. You know him, because he abides with you, and he will be in you. I will not leave you orphaned. I am coming to you. In a little while the world will no longer see me, but you will see me. Because I live, you also will live. On that day you will know that I am in my Father, and you in me, and I in you. They who have my commandments and keep them are those who love me. And those who love me will be loved by my Father, and I will love them and reveal myself to them." Verse 15 says, "If you love me, you will keep my commandments." This is worth taking some time to ponder, and I'd encourage you to take this passage with you through the week ahead and give it some time to seep into your soul. Jesus' commandments were to love God with all our hearts, minds, souls and strength, and to love our neighbours as ourselves. I read recently that we enter love by being love. Jesus commands us to love because God is love. Love is our way in.